Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Ravens flock, we finally have some good news. Wow, after 2 weeks of dealing with nothing but bad news, turned into worse news, turned into the absolute worst possible news we could deal with heading into that game against the Bengals. Here we are, finally getting some good news on our side. Ravens flock, our franchise quarterback, our main guy, the leader, number 8, Lamar Action Jackson is finally back on the practice field. He practiced today. Now, he was limited, but he did practice today. This is a great sign in terms of, or at least in great improvement in terms of the chances of him playing on Sunday against the LA Rams. So Lamar was back on the practice field, and man, I ain't gonna lie, that was some good news to hear. That was some good news to hear. Now, based on how I've seen the situation regarding his injury, I didn't really expect to see him back on the practice field, at least until next week. I was hopeful he would come back, but based on how it's looked, and considering the fact he missed 2 straight weeks of practice, I was skeptical coming into this week in Lamar actually practicing. But here he is on Wednesday practicing, so that's a good sign that leads towards him potentially playing in a crucial must-win situation for the Ravens' playoff hopes against this team, the LA Rams. So him being on the practice field is definitely a positive, not only for I guess our chances to win this game against the Rams, but a positive in terms of morale, because when number 8 is on the field, whether it's the practice field or it's game time, when number 8's on the field, the level of energy is just different. There's just a different atmosphere when he's there. That's the type of energy you always get from a franchise quarterback, and the players have spoken on it. When Lamar is on the practice field or he's on the game field, it's just an entirely different presence. The level of morale just boosts up. And that's exactly what happened today, man. The energy was boosted up because, you know, you got your guy back. You got your franchise quarterback. At least he's practicing. You don't know how he's going to be towards Sunday, which we will speak on. You know, credit to Tyler Huntley. Credit to Josh Johnson. They have done a phenomenal job holding down the fort in terms of their play. Now, of course, you know, context matters in this situation, because when you look at how those two guys have played, they couldn't play any better than what you got considering the situation they were thrown in. They've done a fantastic job. But on the outside, especially in terms of the media, all they're going to sit back and say is that this team has not won a football game since Lamar Jackson was a starter. So, you know, since Lamar Jackson went down, we are, what, 0-3, 0-4? It's how the media is going to take it. But credit to those guys, because they're not the reasons we lost those games. Those guys played well. They played great, especially for the situation they were thrown into. They did an amazing job. And, you know, one of those two quarterbacks, based on what I've seen today, one of those two quarterbacks may have to hold it down for yet another week. So, let's get into that. Why would I say that? You know, Lamar Jackson's back on the practice field. He's practicing again. Shouldn't that be a great thing? Shouldn't that lead towards him, you know, returning and playing on Sunday? Well, you would be correct. However, there are two different perspectives that I'm sure Ravens flock has at least gone through. The first perspective is the individuals that only saw the report of Lamar Jackson practicing. You saw the report, or you saw the initial report come out earlier, and you probably saw the injury report where it did show him practicing. He was limited in practice today. So you probably saw that part and said, well, Lamar Jackson's finally practicing. This has got to be positive. This has got to be leaning towards him playing on Sunday. So these guys, I don't blame you for having that positivity, probably saying LJ's back, he's back at it, he's ready to go, he's going to lead this team to the playoffs. I've seen some of that energy in some of those comments today, so I'm not surprised to see that. Those people that have that perspective did not see what some of us saw a little bit later on. So we speak on that perspective that just saw the report. Now, here comes the perspective that saw the report and then saw the clips that came out of Lamar Jackson in practice, which was many of us, including myself. Let me tell you this right now. If you were one of the people that saw that clip, or some of the clips, because it was multiple clips, but if you saw the main clip of Lamar Jackson practicing during his time, you know, during the media portion of practice, if you saw those clips and you saw how Lamar looked, I can tell you this right now. I do not know how that guy right there, I don't know how that guy is going to get on that field to play on Sunday against the Rams. Based on what we saw from the clips today, I don't know how he's going to be able to play. Now, in terms of throwing the football, Lamar pretty much looked the same. I mean, the one thing I'll say is he wasn't able to drive the football the way you would normally want him to. And that's because he can't put that much weight on his ankle, which was visibly shown. But, you know, or he's not trying to put that much weight on his ankle, which was visibly shown in the video. But overall, throwing the football, Lamar pretty much looked the same. Again, he's an MVP quarterback. I don't think he would just go from being able to throw the football normally to not knowing how to throw a football in 2 weeks of missed practice time. So throwing the football, Lamar looked fine. He looked okay. It's not like they were throwing anything complicated out there, especially because he wasn't actually taking a lot of deep dropbacks. It was a lot of 2-step and 3-step dropbacks that they were practicing out there with Lamar, at least during the media portion. He did do a couple of deep dropbacks, but it wasn't a lot of them. It was mostly a lot of quick throws, 2-step, 3-step dropbacks, get the ball out your hands quickly. So it's not like they're really trying to move Lamar around that much. So that was what we saw in terms of him throwing in some of the dropbacks, which again, that speaks on a positive outlook because, you know, he's throwing the ball well. He looked fine. You know, he didn't look any different than what he's looked before he got injured. So that's a good sign. However, if you saw some of the clip after Lamar threw the football, you would understand where I'm coming from. So there's this one clip that shows Lamar throwing the football as a 2-step drop back. He gets the ball in his hands, he throws it. After that, he starts walking down the field. And then he starts to jog. And the clip cuts there. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you saw that clip, you would not think this guy is going to be on the field on Sunday. Lamar in that clip, you could visibly see that he was walking with a limp. It wasn't like that big of an emphasis, but there was a visible limp when he was walking. And then when he started to jog, you can really tell that he was limping. This dude looks like he cannot run right now. He can barely walk without limping. So I don't see how he's going to run. You're telling me that you want to put this guy on the field to go up against Aaron Donald and Von Miller on Sunday against this offensive line? No. John Harbaugh is hopeful that Lamar will be able to play on Sunday, but if I'm being honest, unless we got the super serum, I do not know how Lamar's going to be on that field on Sunday. Because, now, who knows? I've seen a lot of people try to be optimistic here and say, well, you know, for the most part, he was walking around in that boot. They probably were doing everything to get his ankle better, to get him as ready as they possibly can. Not to mention, he's not like he was probably out and about or doing a lot of things. He was probably resting and they were working on his ankle, trying to get that together and fix that whole situation up. So he was carrying the boot for, I think, the last 2 weeks, and now they've recently taken it off. So now that he's back on the field, obviously Lamar is going to have to get used to now being out of that boot, and it's going to take him a little time. So, you know, we'll see how the week goes. And I'm not saying Lamar can't play entirely. I just think right now, based on what we saw today, I don't think he's going to be on the field. But we still got tomorrow's practice. You know, Friday they do their whole walkthrough, and then they prepare for the game for Sunday. So we'll see within the next couple games, especially when it gets to game time. I think Lamar is going to be another game time decision unless he ends up practicing fully tomorrow and fully on Friday, which I do not think he's going to be. Honestly, in my opinion, he's probably going to practice. He's going to be limited in practice tomorrow, limited in practice Friday, and it'll be a game time decision. That's what I'm predicting, but we'll see. But yeah, Lamar could not really run. He was jogging. You could see he couldn't really jog the way he would normally jog, and you could tell he had a limp, and he was feeling some pain on that ankle, and he could barely walk without limping. So I don't see how that guy's going to get on the field on Sunday to go up against Von Miller and Aaron Donald. I don't see how you're going to put him against that, especially with this offensive line. But if he does play, this will be very interesting because that means, one, he'll be good to go, but two, most importantly, we'll get to see what type of offense they're going to choose to run with Lamar. Because a lot of people have been noticing that, you know, Greg Roman and this offense have been running a different play call game as opposed to what Huntley and Johnson, as opposed to what they've been running with Lamar. The play calling was clearly different between Tyler and Johnson and between Lamar. It was clearly different. It was clearly different. And if Lamar does play on Sunday, we will get to see if the new game plan they were running, or this simplified game plan they were running with Huntley and Johnson, we'll see if they run that with Lamar, or if they go back to the older game plan they were running before he got injured. Be very interesting to see. But hey, at least for now, Lamar is practicing. We'll see where that leads to. I do not believe he's going to play this week, but it is possible. We'll just see. You know, it's a day-to-day situation. It's a watch how we progress and see what happens type of situation. And yeah, we'll just see what happens, man. That's all I can really say. But yeah, for me, I do not think he's going to play. Based on what I saw from the clips today of him in practice, I just don't see him going on Sunday. Nor do I see the Ravens wanting to put him at risk to do so. But hey, we'll see what happens. Whatever decision the franchise makes, they'll have to live with it. But yeah. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!